Doki Doki Literature Club. You know, I have to hand it to this game, because now whenever I hear the word Doki, I'll be thinking about this game instead of the other game that I've been associating with the word for the past 3 decades, Doki Doki Panic, or as we know it in America, as Super Mario Bros. 2. And I'm going to have to throw a spoiler up, because I'm going to be revealing a lot. Alright? So let's get into this. So, Doki Doki Literature Club is a visual novel game where you as the main character join a school club made up of 4 different girls, each showcasing their own personalities. Sayori, your best friend who talked you into joining the club, Monika, academic, popular, and the club's president, Natsuki, lover of manga and very assertive, and Yuri, shy and prefers novels with a more darker tone. Now what you do over the course of a couple days is get to know the characters, and through a create a poem MIDI game, it steers the narrative in the direction of whichever girl you want it to. Like, let's say for example that you have an interest in Yuri. Then while you're writing the poems, you pick the words that you think Yuri would like. Then the story starts to focus more on your relationship with Yuri. But everything gets real insanely quick when Sayori decides to kill herself at the end of Act 1. Yeah, this comes right the heck out of nowhere, and shocked many gamers when it happened. But after it occurs, the game starts to do some pretty weird things. You can start a new game, and everything seems normal for the first couple seconds, but then when Sayori is supposed to be a part of the narrative, the game starts glitching, and then begins to rewrite itself to remove her completely from the coding. Now Monika is the one to talk you into going to the literature club instead of Sayori. The story tends to stay on track like it was before, but differences start to present themselves. Like every now and then, the game glitches for whatever reason, and the characters start Valentina acting a little, not like themselves. Like Natsuki being more aggressive, and Yuri becoming more, psychotic. The only thing that stays the same is Monika. She seems to be aware of what's going on with the other characters, but she doesn't really care. And that's because it's her who is responsible for everything. Yeah, in an interesting turn of events, Monika goes full Agatha Harkness and explains that all the weird things going on was her learning how to manipulate the game. Why? To alter all the other girls' character files to make them less likable so you would choose to be with her instead. Dang! Who's been messing with the character codes? It was Monika all along. She then rewrites the game where the other characters have now been deleted, and it's just you and her in a vacant room with God knows what's going on outside the window, and all the game is now is just Monika having conversations with you. That's it. That's what the game is now. So, how long does this whole thing go on for? Basically, until you decide to do what she did to the other characters and delete her character. Yeah, one of the interesting things that this game has is the ability to go into the files and mess with the game just like Monika did. Wow! I mean, what an amazing game! That is really creative for the main antagonist to actually mess with the files in the game's software. Ingenious. I could totally see Monika right up there with other rogue AIs like GLaDOS or the Master Control program. But, in all seriousness, sitting in this room with Monika staring back at you in low lighting is actually very intimidating and makes me feel extremely uneasy. But not as uneasy as something else. Okay, so like many YouTubers, I use a capture software to record video game footage so I can use it in my videos, right? And what happens when I turn it on? Numbers appear in the top left corner of the screen. Now, these numbers are just for my own reference, to tell me that the software is working and how long it's been recording. Once the footage gets put into the editing software, the numbers disappear. However, at one point during this scene, the numbers appeared not in the corner of the screen, but out the window behind the glass, and stayed there during the editing process so you, the viewer, can now see them clearly. As far as I know, this is impossible, and I have no idea why the numbers are out in space rather than in the corner where they usually are. Never in all my years of making videos has this ever happened. Monika's messing with me, man. I think it's time to show this princess of pirated pixels the recycle bin. Hasta la bye-bye, Monika! You know, guys, I've been thinking. Monika's really not that bad. I think I might just stay here for a little while and just stare into her eyes. You know, just for a bit. She did go through all this trouble after all. And you know, she's just great. Monika is great. Monika is everything.
Scream!